It started walking closer. Every time I looked away, it only moved when I wasn't looking, and every time I looked back, it was closer. I was staying alone in my apartment building during late winter, working from home after New Year. Most of the tenants had already left, heading back to families or warmer places once the holidays ended. Snowstorms rolled in one after another, sealing the city off in layers of white and ice. By the second week of January, my floor was completely empty except for me. At first I didn't mind it. The building was old but solid, thick concrete walls, narrow hallways, radiators that knocked and hissed like they were alive. During the day, sunlight reflected off the snow outside and spilled through the windows, making everything look clean and quiet. I worked at my desk, drank too much coffee, and told myself the isolation was good for me. At night, that confidence faded. Silence settled in differently once the sun went down. It wasn't just the absence of sound. It felt like the building was holding something back. I started leaving lamps on in rooms I wasn't using, just to break up the dark. Even then, I caught myself listening, waiting, as if something was about to interrupt the quiet. The first red flag appeared outside. I noticed it one evening while washing dishes. Something dark stood at the edge of the parking lot, near where the snowbanks rose higher. At first I thought it was a car shadow or a utility pole I hadn't paid attention to before. It was far enough away to be easy to ignore. Just a shape. I leaned closer to the window and focused on it. It didn't move. No sway, no shift, no sign of breathing. Just stood there, tall and narrow against the white snow. After a moment, I turned away, telling myself it was nothing worth staring at. When I looked back, it was closer. Not by much, maybe a few feet, but enough that my stomach tightened. I blinked hard and rubbed my eyes. Snow can play tricks on depth. Light reflects strangely at night. I stared at it again, willing it to move, to do anything that would make sense. It didn't. I went to bed uneasy, curtains pulled tight. The next night, I checked the window on purpose. The figure was there again, standing at the edge of the lot. I watched it for a full minute. It didn't move. I looked down at my phone, replied to a message, then glanced back up. Closer. I felt a chill run through my arms. I stepped back from the window, heart beating harder than it should have. I told myself someone could be walking through the lot, stopping and starting, maybe a neighbor who hadn't left yet, but I never saw it walk. Over the next few days, the pattern repeated. Every time I looked directly at it, it stayed still. Every time I looked away and back again, the distance closed. Slowly, patiently, always closer than before. I started timing it, counting breaths, testing myself. I would stare at it, turn away for just a second, then snap my gaze back, closer. The figure never rushed, never lunged. It didn't need to. Whatever it was, it seemed to understand something I didn't. I stopped looking out the window at night. That didn't stop it. A few mornings later, I opened my apartment door and froze. Wet footprints marked the snow just outside my threshold. They led up to my door and stopped there. No trail away, no disturbance. Beyond that point, I hadn't heard anything during the night. I stood there staring, cold, creeping into my feet, trying to decide if I was scared or just confused. I told myself someone could have stood there for a moment and turned around carefully. But the snow beyond the footprints was smooth, undisturbed. That night, I barely slept. I kept the hallway light on. Every sound felt louder. The building creaked and settled around me. Pipes knocked, wind rattled windows. Each noise made my muscles tighten. The figure stopped appearing outside after that. Instead, I saw it inside. The first time, it was at the end of the hallway. I stepped out of my apartment to take out trash and glanced down the corridor. A dark shape stood near the stairwell door, barely visible in the dim light. I froze. When I focused on it, it didn't move. I looked down at the bag in my hand, heart racing, then back up. Closer. I dropped the trash and backed into my apartment, slamming the door shut. I stood there shaking, staring at the peephole, half expecting it to appear on the other side. Nothing happened. After that, it became a regular presence. I'd see it at the end of the hall, near the elevator, by the stairwell, always far enough away to pretend it wasn't real, always closer when I looked again. I tried not to blink. I tried not to look away. My eyes burned from staring. My head ached. Still, it crept closer in small, careful increments. I never heard footsteps, never heard breathing, just the quiet shift of space closing in. The building felt smaller each night. One evening, I found footprints inside the hallway, wet, fresh, leading from the stairwell toward my apartment. They stopped just short of my door. I stood there staring at them, chest tight, realizing I had no memory of hearing anyone come up the stairs. I locked myself inside and didn't leave again that night. The final escalation came quietly. I was standing in my living room, lights off, except for the glow from my laptop. I glanced toward the hallway. The figure was there, halfway down, too close. I stared at it, breathing shallow, refusing to blink. My eyes watered, my vision blurred. I told myself not to look away. My phone buzzed in my hand. I flinched, looked down, looked back. It was standing just outside my bedroom door. The air felt heavier, pressed in around me. I could feel it on my skin, like a change in pressure before a storm. I backed away slowly, heart pounding so hard it hurt. I turned toward the front door. For just a second, that was enough. It was directly in front of me. I didn't see it move, I felt it. The space around me tightened. The air grew thick, hard to breathe. I could sense its presence, leaning toward me, close enough that I felt my body react without permission. I couldn't scream, I couldn't move, my vision tunneled. Then instinct took over. I ran. I didn't grab my coat, didn't take my keys properly. I slammed into the door, fumbled with the lock, tore it open, and ran into the hallway. I didn't look back. I took the stairs 2 at a time, lungs burning, heart slamming. I burst out into the snow barefoot, cold, biting into my skin. I didn't stop until I reached the street. I stood there, gasping, shaking, staring back at the building. Every window was dark. Nothing moved. I never went back. I left everything behind. Clothes, furniture, photos. The landlord called later, said nothing seemed disturbed, said no one else had been there. I didn't argue. Even now, years later, I struggle with dark rooms, with mirrors, with blinking. I keep lights on longer than I should. I hesitate before looking away from shadows, because sometimes, when I'm tired and the room is quiet, I feel it again. That sense of something waiting, patient, close, ready to move the moment I look away. If you made it this far, subscribe for more true horror stories like this one.